Welcome back to the show. Many thanks for staying with us, and I hope that you will stay through till the end. So before I was talking to you about obesity, you saw the story about Lydia and her inability to move herself around and how uncomfortable she is. Like we've indicated, is just not about the discomfort. It's also about the health risks and the exposure to all the health complications that I told you about. Well, starting tomorrow, the WHO and UNICEF, representatives of the Ministries of Health and Agriculture from some 15 countries will start a dialogue aimed at tackling the rising problem of obesity in Ghana and other African countries. Well, the general objective is to contribute to the improvement of urban food systems to address the emerging burden of overweight and obese people in West Africa. Well, specifically, they're hoping to assess the current situation of overweight and obesity and its related complications in urban areas. They're also looking to deliberate on the key contributing factors. And I've got two people in the studio. We'll start our conversation with them telling us about these key contributing factors as far as research available to them points us to. Let me introduce you to my guest for this discussion. I have Daisy Leonshaw. She is FAO Senior Communications Officer. You're welcome. Okay, and I also have here in the studio Mfumuzi Zukati. He's Senior Nutrition and Food Systems Officer with the FAO. You're welcome. What does your name mean, though? Mfumuzi?
Mfumuzi is
Mfumuzi.
Yes,
okay.
It's a Swazi name from Swaziland. I'm from Southern Africa. It just means homestead.
Homestead?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I see. Interesting. Well, let's start our conversation. I've done some BMI and height assessment and everything, and I know I'm somehow obese. I mean, it's not bad, but I know that it doesn't balance out. My height versus the BMI, it doesn't balance out. But this is a problem that most of us face, and you could still look small but still be obese based on that assessment. First of all, let's find out what are the statistics saying. We've done a bit of the story, but take us through it again. What are the statistics saying as far as how bad the problem is? I mean, I don't know which of you is good to go with that one.
Give like a sort of a global perspective.
Okay, let's go
on it. So right now we have 821 million, people suffering from lack of nutrition, hungry people globally. Now, we did our studies. We have around 657 million who are obese. And a number of them, according to our studies, is we have them, quite a few millions of them in Africa, which is quite a disturbing number. And in fact, they called it the disease of the 21st century. And there are several reasons why people have overnutrition, so to speak. And some of them are even like the empty calories, as we call them. So there are several reasons why a person is predisposed to being obese. It can be genetic factors, your parents, it's in the blood, it's in your DNA. It can also be the environment, like where you live in. Probably we were talking about it on our way here with Muzi. When you're driving through Accra, there's not a lot of pedestrian space. I was walking the other weekend and I fell into a ditch because I was trying to get healthy, and then there's no access to it. But it's okay. It's the reality for a number of countries. So that is one of the, two of the reasons why there's a growing number of obese people in the world. But also the other thing is the rapid urbanization, the development of cities, of countries with access to imported food and food that are quickly prepared and quickly ingested.
Fast food.
Yeah, the fast food, and I see a lot of that. I'm originally from Asia, and fast food is almost like in every street corner you'll find them. And Musi can probably explain like the extent of obesity in Ghana in particular, which is the numbers are rising quite fast.
Okay, well that's of interest to us, and I'm sure that my viewers will bear me in that. Tell us a bit more about the trends, the Ghana trends.
Yes, thank you so much for that. Like my colleague has said, the trends are disturbingly increasing. In fact, the studies vary, but it's agreed that in the last decade there has been a 10% increase from about 14% to more than 24% of adults being obese. But then the problem is more acute in female women adults of productive age, which is a problem because we know that the health of our mothers is critical to the health of the nation.
So one of the things that you do when you want to solve a problem is to identify the problem. So in our quest to identify the problem, how is it that, is there an explanation as to why women seem to be the ones who are, you know, at the end of this problem?
Yes, probably there could be cultural issues, because the people that I've interviewed, in fact, the women I've interacted with, including my friends, my males, we talk about these problems of malnutrition all the time. They are saying that it's a norm for a woman, if she's happy in the marriage, she has to look big. And, you know, so if you're looking thin, and it means that probably your marriage is not very good, your husband is not looking after you very well.
So I think in Ghana, the thing that we usually would say is that you're having a good life, you know. Yes. It used to be that when, you know, overweight would be a sign to show that you're having a good life, or you have peace. You have peace at home and everything. But that has changed. So I'm wondering, in fact, you have a lot of women now who are looking, you know, doing all the routines to look smaller. So I'm wondering why it is, the trend is actually showing that women are getting bigger, if that's what the statistics are showing.
Yes. Yes, yes. Thank you for that. I think the statistics really are disturbing. It's a fact. It's a growing problem. We need to stop it. It's part of the African nutrition strategy. It is saying that by 2025 there should be no more increase in cases of obesity, especially in women. Okay. So what is driving the problem really, basically, it's the urban food systems and the lifestyles. Okay. One of the key factors that is being pointed out is the rural-urban migration. If you look at the population growth, the urban population is growing at an astronomical pace compared to the rural population. It's basically rural-urban migration. Increase in income, the income bulge, people are getting more good job, more income opportunities, and that is like they spend a lot of their time in front of computers, in cars, lifestyle. There's fast food mushrooming all over the place. They don't have time to cook at home. And for us as FAO, it is a food systems problem, which must be attacked at its grassroots level, at the food systems approach. So we need to look at the urban food systems and how they are driving the problem.
So urban food systems and lifestyles. I'll have you, Daisy, talk about urban food systems and the lifestyles, and how this new, I mean, you're going to have a conference. But really, it's not just about the conference. Okay. I mean, how are we going to deal with this problem?
Right. Let me just go back, you know, like 5 steps back to what Mozi was saying about the predominance of women when it comes to obesity. Being a mother myself, you know, it's quite easy to get big if you let go of your dietary guidelines. You know, you're not conscious about it. As a mother, I'm a working mother. And Muzi accurately mentioned it. You're in a rush, and you need to provide, you know, the food at home. You don't have time to cook. But sometimes it's easier for us to get food from the hot dog place, from Osu. You drop by, you drive, and then you buy a quick pizza. And the other thing is, it's also the style on how you eat at home. You know, the family type of environment where you have dinner with your parents and you talk and there's home cooked meal. It's the urbanization has changed all of that. The dynamics are so much different.
Was that a healthier style?
The healthier lifestyle is when you eat, you know, your parents would cook and your grandparents would sometimes cook. I remember when I was growing up, we had always fresh food. It's like piping
That's very
hot.
Asian,
Yeah, very Asian, piping hot from the kitchen.
Okay.
But also what I've noticed as mothers is we finish the food of our children. And you know what our children like, the fried chicken, the pizzas, and everything else. Now, we've mentioned women, but also the numbers of children. The numbers of children are growing and even tripling. And the reason for this is the sedentary lifestyle that we have. You know, they have access to electronics right now. Yeah. They're pasted on their iPads. They're working on their computers, playing with their friends. There's parallel play groups, whereas before they would play with a ball outside. Yeah.
But so they're exercising. Exactly. But now everything is just, you know, just a click away, and everything is on this little device in front of you, and you're seated and you're just focusing.
Right. And so that's the side effect of rapid development. And we see it in a number of West African countries, including Ghana, for example. There's not a lot of children. Well, in the neighborhood where I live, I don't see a lot of children. And in the neighborhood where I grew up, we were all outside there. So that's quite troublesome. And I think it's a conversation I had with Muzi. I said, what is quite interesting about obesity is it is a preventable problem.
Okay.
It's not a disease. It's not communicable. It's not cancer. It's not something that is really disturbing. If we educate, if we raise the awareness that having like a high physical activity existence, as well as having safe and nutritious options for food, it can be remedied.
Okay.
And that's one of the reasons why we're having the meeting tomorrow, is to make sure that the stakeholders, all the decision makers are in the room, and let us think and let us have an honest and transparent conversation.
Okay, that's
how we can deal with it.
That's very interesting. An honest and transparent conversation. A lot of people have said, Daisy, that look, we've had enough of this. Now people will meet all the time and talk and talk and talk, and at the end of the day, we don't even know, someone from that meeting cannot tell you exactly what they even talked about. Sometimes it's all the fancy of it, have that meeting. How is this meeting going to be different? And tell us, let's start from how it is going to address this problem beyond the talk.
Right. So we're having, this is ECOWAS, which covers Western Africa. So you have 15 countries right now. So that's a very interesting question that you had, after this, now what?
Yeah.
We now know about the SDGs 2030. And we're working on a tight timeline. Right now, we don't have the liberty of pushing things forward and waffling about. So we have to do something. So we have how many years left to work on it? Yeah. We also have the the global goals as well as the regional goals. Malabo ones. Yes. So perhaps Musi can add more into the Malabo part.
So after this, what next to make sure that these problems that you've put down on paper are actually addressed, and that we find solutions to these problems? What's the plan?
Okay, thank you very much. I think one of the critical things that we need to do is the advocacy and communication. That is why, as FAO, we are putting a lot of emphasis on communicating the problem. If you just communicate a problem once and in the wrong forum, it will just blow away. But if you keep on advocating, communicating, building these multi-sectoral platforms whereby people come together, education, health, agriculture, and the municipalities, they come together to the round table, they continuously talk, we disseminate the information in a user-friendly manner. I think the message will end up being taken up. Before I became so strong in the nutrition field myself, I was not very, very much health conscious like I am now, So because I read about these things every day, they are part of my job. They are also influencing the way that I live. So I'm a living example that advocacy, communication, continuous information is the key to addressing problems.
A lot of people again have said that advocacy is a long journey. It doesn't. You just start the conversation and it won't give you the effect. It won't give you the result that you want immediately. But if this is a growing problem, don't you think that we perhaps need a much more aggressive approach to this? And I'm asking, and I keep asking, what is the plan? Because we spoke about the lifestyle changes. Can we now talk about here on this platform, share with our viewers what can they do about shifting the lifestyles, so that you live a healthier lifestyle?
Right. And you mentioned that advocacy, it's a social change, it's a behavior change. Yeah. I keep saying I want to be fit, but the last 15 kilos is not going away. So it has to be a commitment from ourselves, It's choosing the right food when you go to the market, to the grocery, like, oh, this is healthier than a donut, so let me get an apple. So it starts within, the choice of food we have at home. And also, what's next after this? So we're talking with the decision makers, we're talking with the policy makers. These are the people who can make things happen.
Okay.
If I can make a certain example of several countries, United States, when Michelle Obama was there, she implemented the healthier lunch plans for the children in school, for all children in the public school. So, no sugary drinks, no soda available. So these are some of the small but big changes that we're looking for. And also one of the reasons why we're meeting up is to see what other countries are doing. Gambia, for example.
Okay.
Is it effective? You know, it's a sharing of best practices as well. What works for other countries might work for Ghana. So it's a very unique platform where we can all come together and share. And we are hoping, with our fingers crossed and with a very tight timeline, you know, we can make this. We can make this.
I really do hope so. I really do hope so, because I mean, some of us would say that probably if we're exposed to some of these information, then you probably would have made better choices, etc. But if people are eating late, you know, because you've got to work, you work late, so you get tired, so you can't go to the gym. And I'm wondering if there's a shortcut. Like you're saying, there is no shortcut. You have to make a personal commitment. Isn't that so?
Yes.
But then how to get the people to make that personal commitment, because it's becoming a national, global problem, again becomes the problem.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I will really get on back to the multi-sectoral approaches to the problem. So it should not be a problem that is preached, I mean, a solution that is preached by agriculture. It should not be a solution that is preached by health, by education. It should be preached by everyone, even at homesteads. And we need to empower our small children with the information. We start initiating them into the right kinds of food, so that when they make food choices, they are making food choices from an informed point of view. So there is definitely hope, because if we empower people with education, knowledge, and the ability to make informed decisions, they will change the way they behave, definitely.
So we've been asking you on our social media platforms to share with us where you stand on that list that we put out there. Late night eating, I mean, eating very late at night, eating junk food, and doing very little physical exercise. Where do you stand on that three? Because those three are one of the some of the danger zones you don't want to be. But share your thought with us on Facebook, and let's see if we can go through them right now. But I'm having this conversation with Daisy Leonsho. She's a FAO Senior Communications Person, and Pumuzi Sukati is a Senior Nutrition and Food System Officer. We're hoping to get the Ghana Health Service representative to talk to us about what their own plan is, you know, how we're going to deal with it here in Ghana. We've not been successful as of yet, but hopefully we will get them, and then I'll share with you your thoughts that you've been sharing with us on the Facebook platform. But let me take your final thoughts. How is it going to be? Is this program starting tomorrow, right? So, okay, you're the man to go for the program. Yeah. Okay, so tell us a bit more about tomorrow's program and why people should pay attention to it at all.
Yeah, thank you. So tomorrow's program really basically is to get the member states that are represented in the dialogue to share with us their experiences, to share with everyone actually their experiences, and how do they see the problems in their countries, and how do they think the problem can best be addressed in their countries, so that we get the information from the horse's mouth, if I can say. Okay. And then to add on that, we will be presenting the statistics. We will be working together with WHO to present the statistics of the problem related to non-communicable diseases, your cancers, your hypertension, osteoarthritis, and all these issues that are related to overweight and obesity. So we will just give the evidence and then get the countries to share their experiences. Okay. We also have academia as well to share with us what research is proving around this problem.
Okay. Yes. Let me take your very final thoughts as well, Daisy.
Yeah, well, this is quite important for us, you know, and going back to the conversation we had earlier, the action starts within us. It starts with us, you know. We mentioned that that obesity creates a lot of problems. You have the cancer, cardiac problems, respiratory, even the bones. Before it gets to that level, it can be prevented. Okay. And awareness is key. There is no excuse for us not to know. Everybody has Facebook. Everybody has social media, and all those tricks and tips on how to lose weight.
There's so many of them.
You know, drink apple cider vinegar, drink lemon juice, and all that. So there's no excuse. Everybody knows. It's not rocket science. It's just healthy food, a good lifestyle when it comes to physical activity, and that's it. So we have to acknowledge that we have to do something. We have children, so let's take care of ourselves. And on the other hand, we have all these wonderful guys like Muzi working on nutrition, making sure that, you know, that all the goals that we have for the next 10 years are in place, and making sure that they relay all the scientific and technical information for us. But indeed, it all starts with us.
It all starts with us. And it's unfortunate that we're unable to get the Ghana representative for the Ghana Health Service, because wanted to find out, there's a thing that was proposed in the United Kingdom about fat tax. Where they put a lot more taxes on foods that were considered, foods that fed obesity. And the idea is that if it's expensive, it's a disincentive, and you may not buy it, you may not eat it, so you stay healthy. But unfortunately, we do not have that person to join in that conversation. But thank you so much for your thoughts. We'll be sharing it with the rest of the world on Facebook. But thank you for coming as well, Daisy Lowenshaw, FAO Senior Communications Person, and Pumuzi Zukati, Senior Nutrition and Food Systems Officer with the FAO. Thank you very much for coming, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.